So, I'm not into Pokemon. I don't see the appeal. They're silly, like children. I'm not a fan. If I had a kid, I'd buy them Pokemon posters and t-shirts, but that's okay because they would be a child. To me, Pikachu is a security blanket for middle-aged gamers who, in the shadow of pseudo-Pokemasters, have not caught as many Pokemon as they once dreamt. Thanks, Eddie. Fae, on the other hand, are creatures of different element attributes that you summon from a deck of magical cards that you carry around in your witch bag. Does that sound like a more refined and tastefully tailored creature summoning experience? Tailored specifically to the mature pre-millennia gamers who don't give high scores for long cutscenes and recognize that it was voice acting, not CG, that killed the JRPG?
I didn't know you felt that way.
Ah yes, creature summoning for the mature gamer, who rather likes using the word tactics more than 3 times in a single sentence. I'm Anthony Wilborn, and you're gonna like the way it feels to play Fae favorites. I guarantee it. Fae Tactics is a tactics combat-based RPG, and thank God, because it's been a while. So long that I can't really even tell you what direct inspiration this game took from old school tactics games mechanics like Final Fantasy Tactics or Tactics Ogre, and new school hits like Three Houses, Banner Saga, or even a game like XCOM. I can tell you where I'm coming from though, and that's that XCOM is amazing, but makes me salty as hell. And Three Houses and Banner Saga both were pieces of media for which I would not use the word entertainment to describe. Three Houses was about as fun as combing my cat, and Banner Saga about as dry as the bank of similes I have in my head for dry. They were things that I could have played on my cell phone. So what sets Fae Tactics apart? It doesn't do anything new. It doesn't get crazy like Disgaea, and it's an arguably more simple game than that of the aforementioned Three Houses. And unlike the previous hyperbolic statement, your cell phone could most definitely run Fae Tactics. Fae Tactics, like a lot of tactics games, plays out its narrative entirely from a small collection of screens, a tactics map for battle and conversation, or a scrolling horizon of locations and character submenus. You'll upgrade certain abilities, switch between different party members, and travel between regions in the world navigation screen. At any one time, there can be multiple storylines in progress, and truth be told, I've been jumping between them for nearly 60 hours. Peony, the main protagonist, is a witch in denial. In the world of Fae Tactics, only witches can use magic, and are generally persecuted as such. While most witches have taken to using masks to hide their identities, Peony has an attitude and is not at all willing to play by the same set of rules. Her character is not rooted in a denial of her ability, rather a denial of what society is telling her should set her apart, a witch bias. Peony has a set of morals that are oddly enduring to my 35-year-old soul, even in their simplicity, be it through the assistance of well-composed music or character art with actual personality. Peony is looking for her mother, but it's who she is that creates the diversion to this mission and the real content of the game. She helps people. They ask, and she obliges, and that's about all that drives her forward. This is who she is, a problem solver. Characters do grow in interesting ways, as does the world around you, but the principal plot driver of finding Peony's mother quickly turns into dull background noise in light of each region's plethora of problems that Peony means to mend, until it doesn't. And then you kind of figure out that this really isn't a story about Peony at all. But that's not why you picked this game up. It's a tactics nostalgia thing. I get it, and the glue that keeps this game together is a tactics battle system that does very well to reward tactics as opposed to strategy. Fae Tactics is not about building your units over time, but rather retooling them for every fight. And while the tools are relatively shallow when observed next to something more robust like a class creator or intricate dodge system, Fae Tactics will cause great pain to those who refuse to finely tune each character's traits for every fight. Players who just want to take their favorite Fae to each fight as opposed to the Fae whose elements and assist abilities work best for the situation will do silly things like critique the game for not offering a way to save scum through your fights. From the world navigation screen, you have access to the traits and party screens. Each party member has a few different things going on for them. Firstly, melee characters can combo. That is, if they're next to an enemy that's attacked by another ally, they will follow up with an out-of-turn combo attack. There's no limit to the number of times melee characters can respond in that way during a given round. So if you can position 2 melee characters next to an enemy before your 3 ranged Fae attack that enemy, you're looking at a possible 8 additional melee strikes, 2 combos each time one of those 3 ranged Fae attack, and then 1 combo when each of the melee characters gets a chance to attack. Secondly, every character and Fae have assist abilities. An assist occurs when you right-click an ally as opposed to an enemy, which would normally result in an attack. Assists for Fae and characters are always related to their element. For example, water will apply a heal, wind will apply haste, and shadow will apply cloak. Character assist abilities are based on the element of their weapon, which you can change, and Fae elements can be changed if you discover the corresponding card that can drop in the battlefield as loot. Most of the time, these assist abilities apply a buff, and because you can only have either one buff or one curse, things like poison and petrify, active at a time, assisting is an easy way to remove negative effects from an ally. No antidotes or softs, just offer an ally a positive effect and the negative effect goes away. Likewise, offering an ally a positive effect will remove any other positive effect that they might already have. Thirdly, every character will level up and gain access to trait points. These points are allocated into 3 categories: offense, defense, and special. Points can be spread as the player sees fit, but certain stat boosts are gained when you reach fill thresholds of 5, and a bonus to the character's ultimate attack or passive is gained upon filling an entire row of 20 points. Where the tactics comes in is that these points can be changed at any time from the world navigation screen as well as right before a battle initiates. The roles you want characters to play will undoubtedly change from fight to fight as you experiment with having character prioritize defense as opposed to offense, or prioritize their special role because it happens to improve an aura that's absurdly powerful. When you get to know the characters and the game difficulty, however, you definitely lean into some character setups that are too strong to ignore. Chico's weight ability that allows him to take the hit for an ally and all characters within 3 spaces of him is so good, it's hard to justify playing him any other way. So yeah, Fae Tactics excels at tactics, but it does fall short on strategy. You're never growing anyone into anything unique, individually or team-wise. You're just constantly growing their ability to be played effectively in any role, even if there are roles that they're clearly better at. Don't let me mislead. I tried to get into Disgaea and I lasted all of 30 minutes, but there's definitely something to be said here about lack of content for players who are looking for a deeper, more character-rich experience. It should be mentioned that there are a host of characters and items that are discoverable only through certain actions, but by the time I realized that the characters I wasn't playing with were not actually leveling much out of battle, I decided not to put myself through the feeling of constantly worrying about keeping everyone on equal footing while the bad guys just seemed to be a consistent level above me, no matter how much side content I did. I won't pretend to have done it all, or a majority, but I have every single upgradable item, of which there are 10, maxed out. That has to count for something. The polish it lacks mostly comes in the form of drawn-out storytelling and the communication of information that modern games have spoiled us with. I mean, there's no damage recap, so by the time you eventually realize that there's no way in hell you're going to play fights at anything less than 2x speed, you'll get one shot by an attack that hit you somewhere between 5 and 10 times for an amount of damage that's not entirely clear for reasons you just have to accept. If you're gonna ask things like why and how, just stop right here. Also, Peony becomes less and less convincing for a character who before every fight says things like, We don't have to fight, and isn't there another way? And then proceeds to kill everyone indiscriminately. The idea that she's somehow interested in avoiding a fight just doesn't hold much water before too long. Every fight is a version of, hey you're not supposed to be here, so I guess we gotta murder you. Special mention does have to be given to the sound and music design, both of which are amazing. It may not be the most memorable soundtrack, but the music always set the expected tone, and each round of battle was chock full of ear-grabbing, informative, and impactful sound effects. Look, I'm not in love with the game, but I'd be remiss not to call it an endearing and beautiful creation. The art is fabulous, and I was annoyed by not a single character, which is about as close to reliving the 90s as you can get. Fae Tactics is always asking you to adapt, and while it doesn't ask you to make any grand plans or apply much thought at all to moments out of battle, it won't waste your time with poorly written dialogue, meaningless relationship building, or ridiculous fishing minigames. It'll take you from one seemingly unnecessary fight to another effectively. The story won't really take hold unless you give it 15 hours or so, but it will pick up and it will evoke some emotion eventually. Just not for any of the people or critters you murder along the way. If you're gonna give this game time though, you better take it seriously and approach each fight ready to move your trait points around and not play Fae favorites, because many, if not most, first attempts at bosses will leave you thinking the game is broken and that there is literally no possible way for you to win. Fae Tactics is the creature summoning, Pokemon Masters in denial, kicked back to the pre-voice acting sabotage of the millennium. If any part of that sentence gives you pause, then there is truly something of value here for you.